Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert, a Shiatsu massage therapist, and my specialty is coaching women who are dealing with or healing from narcissistic or toxic relationships. Today, we are talking about the number one tool that helps you deal with or break free or stand up to a toxic relationship. Now, I had a great conversation last night because we're doing a narcissism series of a series of healers and experts with experience in narcissism, the tools that they've used and how they've overcome it. It's been really great. And last night I talked to a good friend of mine, Shauna, who's out in Liverpool. And hey, Lynn, and we had a wonderful conversation about all of these tools that help you do self-care in the real world when you're dealing with toxic people. Hey, Amanda. So it brought to light, we both, her and I were both saying the same thing about the number one way to start breaking free, to start changing your mind, to start changing things in your life. And it's to surround yourself with people who are healthy, who are happy, who have good, paradigms and mindsets, and start to hang around them and connect with them. Hey, Jody. For me personally, I went from being emotionally isolated and dealing with everything on my own until you kind of hit rock bottom. And that's when I started to reach out and I realized we can't do any of this alone. None of us can. The toxic relationships and the narcissists that are coming out of the woodwork, who aren't bad people, but they're people with really bad relationship and communication and mental health skills. They're coming out everywhere because of the stress that's out there in the world, because of all the pressure, and they were never taught how to get along with other people, and they got their way, by being a big bully. So when we deal with that stuff silently, when we deal with it alone, thinking, what's wrong with us? Why do I let this happen to me? Or afraid or guilty or ashamed that we're allowing ourselves to be treated this way. That's what really keeps us stuck. It's not their behavior that keeps us stuck. It's our behavior about creating the life that really works for us. So, for Shauna and I, it meant connecting with like-minded healers. I see a psychologist every single week, and I work through these issues with women in my practice, and they've got me. So when Shauna started to break out, when she started to realize she was in a toxic situation, she couldn't understand all of the drama. Hey, Tara. She couldn't understand all of the drama that was going on around her. She got coaching, and she got therapy, and she got good friends. Now, there's a difference between people who have healthy mindsets and people who help keep you stuck. The people who keep you stuck are the ones that are completely on your side. They think that the narcissist is evil, and why don't you walk out the door, and why aren't you doing this, and you need to shove this in their face, and that sort of attitude. That's a terrible way to deal with the narcissist because it really feeds all of that anger and all of that energy. It may feel good temporarily, but they've got no rules, whereas you have at least some rules for how you want to be, how you want to behave. So you're never going to win in that situation. And a lot of women don't have the luxury to just leave their job or leave their spouse, or, they don't want to get rid of their mom or their dad or their kid. They want to keep that relationship with some hope. So a lot of women are in tough spots where they're feeling like they have to endure. The only way that you can really get through this is to surround yourself with people who have been through it, who understand it, and who can see what's going on, who can give good advice, good insight, and good support. Because we become most like the 5 people, hey Kellyanne, we become most like the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And if one of them is the narcissist or toxic relationship, that means we need to have 4 other really healthy people. As I said, it doesn't matter if you pay them or not, who cares? And in fact, most of the people who can help, they're in the business. They're healers, they're massage therapists, they're psychotherapists. They're the ones who've done their own work. They've gone through their feelings. They've gone through all of the stuff that comes up. They know what you're going through, and they see a bigger picture, and they can give a bigger light about what's going on. They can give you good insight. And most of all, they can give you support, that you're not crazy, that there isn't anything wrong with you, that you aren't broken, that it isn't all your fault. Because the thing with a narcissistic relationship is that you start to question your sanity. You start to wonder if maybe this is all your fault. And the smarter, stronger women are the ones who get the most trapped, because we sit there trying to figure out what's going on, how we can solve it, what we did, how we can affect the situation, how we can control it, basically. And the reality is, as Shona pointed out nicely last night, was we really, truly can't control anybody but ourselves. And so when you start to make that shift in your mindset, when you start realizing that you're trying to control an uncontrollable situation, hey, Deb, it's like trying to stop a moving train. It's not going to happen. And so when we start to recognize that this person we're in relationship with is uncontrollable, that the only thing that we can do is bolster ourselves and get ourselves in a good position, that's when things start to change. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about this is how, this person needs to live their life, and you deciding this is how you need to live your life. So don't feel isolated anymore. Don't keep yourself trapped. If you're having, all of this anger and frustration and feeling like you're belittled and minimized, and it feels bad and it's making you sick and your health is starting to go down, that means you're in a toxic relationship. You're in a situation that if you keep on, you're going to get sick. So the first thing you need to do is start to rally your supporters. Not just, as I said, not just your mom or your sister or, the person who lives next door to you, because they're not going to be able to give you what you need. They typically haven't done the work. So they're going to be reactionary. They're going to come from their own wounding. They're going to come from their own problems. They're going to come from that place. And the advice that they give you is going to be based on the things that they haven't thought through or figured out. So their advice usually isn't very good. It's something like you need to throw it back in their face, or you need to cut them off completely. And for most women, that's just really not an option right now. They have to get things like finances in order, or find another job, get that lined up, or get their health fixed. There's things that we need to do, and why we choose to stay in situations which are tough. So the main thing you can do is to start to gather your community. Gather them around you, gather smart, balanced, wise women who know what you're going through and can shine a light and give you some hope and support. You're going to find these you're not going to find it on the street corner. You're going to find these people by really looking for them, seeking them out, and vetting them. Looking at them and saying, have they done their work? Don't just take it on, thanks, Jody. Don't just take it on faith that because somebody says that they're a healer, or somebody is a therapist, that they can guide you in a good direction. A lot of people get into those professions because it's easier for them to try to fix you than it is to really understand the situation, to understand the toxic situation and how to get through it and how to get out of it. So vet the person that you start to bring in your tribe. Don't just bring anybody. Bring people that can help guide you in the right direction, okay? So here's your homework assignment. It is to find at least one person, whether it's online, whether it's a psychologist, whether it's a Reiki circle, whatever it may be. Find one person that you can start to check out and see if they're balanced enough to have them as part of your support team, have them as part of your support group, okay? Because you have got to have that. If you don't have a community behind you, then you're just going to keep getting sicker, and you're going to keep falling down that rabbit hole of how it must all be your fault and believing what the narcissist is telling you, and being sick and guilty until you're so tired that there's nothing else you can do, okay? So reach out. Absolutely reach out. You aren't alone. This is a super common problem, unfortunately. But the reason that it's so common is because we've kept it secret. We've kept it under wraps. And these are secrets, this emotional violence and this emotional abuse and this energetic abuse and these toxic situations. We need to start bringing them out to the open. And we need to start saying enough. And the only way we can do that is by surrounding ourselves with people who get it, okay? So cool. The next narcissism expert interview is going to be tomorrow night. It's going to be me. I haven't found somebody to interview me yet. But it's going to be how you can use toxic relationships to really evolve you. Because when you just cut and run from a lot of things, you don't get the lessons. You don't learn how to stand up for yourself. You don't learn how to set boundaries. You don't learn how to protect yourself or nurture yourself. You know, when we go from relationship to relationship without really learning the lessons, hey, Deb, then that keeps us trapped too, just with different people every time, okay? So it's time to start healing, and it's time to start growing. It's time to start loving one another, all right? So I'll see you tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow night, I hope you can show up. Hey, Krista. And I'll see you there.